guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Rachel. I'm Victoria. And we're Twintorials. Hello. So today we have a review of the new Viseart Paris Love Letter palette. We have fallen in love with Viseart shadows as of the first stimulus check. When we
Thanks,
bought
COVID.
some big palettes. So I did want to test this out. They did release one with the blue and like gimme. Like
They Papa blued us and we're falling for it.
I love Papa Blues. So if you're interested to see our thoughts, two looks, some swatches, maybe some comparison swatches if we have anything similar, then just keep on watching. As per usual, I'm going to start off with my MAC Painterly Paint Pot to prime my eyelids. This is kind of like a staple eye primer for me, and you know, it's in my project pan, so I'm going to keep on trucking along with her. I stuck with the cooler tones today, as you can see on this eye. I actually did this look already the first time we got it, just like a little bit of a different shape, and I was just like obsessed with how beautiful and like sultry and easy it was. Like, it was just gorgeous. So I'm doing it again. So first I'm gonna go in with this Morphe brush. It's the M506. It's just like a teeny tiny blending brush, and I'm gonna go in with the darkest matte shade right there, and I'm going to pack that on, and I'm gonna create a wing with it. So what I do is I just sketch out my shape before I do anything. So I just create a little shadow wing with it, and then I start blending it as I would like a normal eyeshadow. So yeah, I sketch it out like that, and then I take from the top and I start pulling it inward. And then while I do this, I kind of dibble dabble back and forth between the deepest and some other lighter mattes. So then I'm going to go in with this more tan shade right in the corner here, and I'm going to use that to kind of bring it in a little bit more on the same brush. So I'm going to use it to kind of create this little shadow right here. And then I'm going to continue to blend this little wing portion out a little bit further, and go back in with the deepest matte and kind of intensify the outer portion here. One thing about Viseart mattes is they're going to be more depthy on the eyes than they look in the pan. They're not, I mean, it's definitely a lighter toned palette, but most of the shades are going to show up even if they look like they won't. You know what I mean? Like, they're just intense like that. So that's just something to bear in mind. And then we're going to start going in with some shimmers. You can use these wet or dry or over a glitter primer. I normally just use them dry because I like the look of that. I feel like wet metallics create that that liquid gold look, and I don't like that look on the eyelids. But these are like some of the most user-friendly shimmers you can get. They're never going to like create too much texture, but I personally don't want to take that risk with wetting them, but like if you've tried that, let me know. So I'm gonna go back and forth between the purple and the silver in here. First I'm gonna lay down the purple, then I'm gonna go over it with the silver, then I'm gonna go back over it with the purple to create this kind of custom like purpley silver tone. I could probably just mix the two, but this is the way I decided to do it. So we're gonna deal with that. This is a Morphe M124, I think, brush. It's just like a flat synthetic brush. And I'm going to kind of like cut the crease with that. So I'm going to go, you know, right up into this shape we created. This is my favorite shape for like a winged out look, so that's why I do that. So I'm going to start right here and kind of just outline what I'm doing. See, that's like, oh, that metallic is stunning. And then I'm going to pop it all over the eyelid. And then I'm gonna go back in, or then I'm gonna go in with the silver and put it right on top. And then back in with the purple and putting that on top. just created this really fun like gunmetal-y purple color. And then right next to the purple, we have this beautiful like champagne kind of shimmer color. It's really sheer, but like in the best way. So I'm gonna put that in the innermost portion of this eye look. I had brought this one too far like down, and it was just too like grungy for what I was going for today. So I put this shade on top, and mama, I'm just gonna use the same brush. It is like so beautiful. I would love to use it on its own. It's very kind of like one of those transformative shades. It's just very sheer and beautiful. It's not super glittery, but it's also not like too satin. So there we go. Then I'm gonna go back in with the darkest brown and just kind of blend these two together. And then I just swirled the brush around on my sock because that's how I clean brushes. I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to dip back and forth between these two like lightest pinky tone mattes and put them on like on my brow bone. Alright, that looks good to me. I'll probably clean it up and stuff while I'm doing my base, but this is eye look number one. I will be back to show you the finished look and do the lower lash line in a second. So I'm a little pumpkin-y from this lighting. I don't know what to tell you. We're gonna move on. I'm just gonna finish up the lower lash line. It's gonna be fairly simple, but I probably will pop a green because I haven't used the green yet, and like I like green. So I'm just gonna take the darkest shade in this palette and run it under my like outer lower lash line and just blend it into the top just to make sure if we got any like foundation or base products in there that it's like re-intensified basically. And I'm just gonna take a brush and the green shade and pop it under here. Oh, that's cute. I like that shade. Then I'm going to take the lightest shimmer in the palette right up here, and I'm going to pop that in my inner corner. This is pretty. Okay, let me do my mascara, and then you can see the real final look. Alright, here's look number one completed. Now on to look two. Alright, so we're on to look number two here. I decided I wanted to go a little bit more of like the natural route. Oops. Okay, anyway, we're on to the second look. I decided I wanted to keep it a little more on like the natural side. I wanted to do like a nice like big lashy look, but like with minimal eye makeup. So I'm gonna jump in first to this nice little peachy coral pink shade right here, just on this big old fluffy brush from BH Cosmetics. I don't know what one this is. This is from that rose gold set. And I'm gonna fluff that through my crease pretty much like all the way up into the brow, and I'm gonna do a little bit down here in this center, or right here in the front of my brow, but I am going to cover that a little bit with another shade, just like that. And then I'm gonna take this shade right here, which looks kind of like a brown, but it is really like a true peach, like with more of that orange in it rather than that coral. So I'm going to take a little bit of that, and that I am going to focus right here up in the front of the brow, kind of bring it around this way as sort of my, you know, pop of color here. And I'm going to go back into that pink shade and make sure that's pretty intense around here so that when I go in with the shimmer it doesn't like erase it all. But I'm going to mix two shimmers. I'm going to take this pink shade down here and then this more rose gold almost. They're both similar, they just have different tones, as well as one of them is a little bit icier. So I'm going to start out with the deeper of the two, which is the one up here at the top. I don't mean deep, but deeper. And I'm going to pat that all over the center of the lid mainly and bring it up into the brow bone and the other areas. Then I'm going to take the more icy shade and really try and focus that in the center. Give it sort of that, you know, wet shine effect. It's like that. And then I'm going to go back in with the brush that has the pink on it. Fluff that around to make sure everything looks, you know, dispersed, even. And then I'm going to kind of do like a wing shadow moment with the deepest brown in here. Where did my brush go? Yeah, so I'm going to take that on an Alamar Cosmetics brush. All of the names on our brushes are gone, but it's just like the flat one that they sell. And load that up. I'm going to wing it out first. And bring that into about the center of my eye. And I'm not super worried about neatness. I am going to go into a fluffier brush, one right here. This is from like an AliExpress set or something. But I'm going to take that and really like diffuse that color. Really give it that more like smoky effect. And then I'll just clean that up with a wipe because that's clearly not like a wing. These are like completely different shapes. That's what I get, you know. It's hard to do shadow wings. It's hard to do wings in general. But yeah, that's about the main step for the eyes here. I wish they weren't completely different shapes. I think I'm missing a little bit more peach on this side, so I'm gonna re-punch that in. And for my inner corners, I'm a little torn. I don't know if I want to go icy or if I want to go like pop of color, you know? I think I'm gonna go icy. This little tiny brush here, this one does have a name. It's the Morphe M508. And I'm gonna go into the lightest shimmer shade right up here and just pop that on my inner corners. I think that is about all. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my makeup. I think I might end up adding that icy shade just all at the bottom of my lash line to really open things up, but I'll, you know, let you know what happens when I get there. Okay, this is everything completed. I definitely did like a nice little blush heavy moment. All I did on my lower lash line was I stamped a little bit of that deepest brown color right here, just on that outer portion, and then I ran this lighter pink shimmer shade all under my lower lash line, popped in a white in the waterline, and that's all I did for this look. So I like it. Like, it's very simple, it's very normal, but like it's a little springy, like it's a little fun, like I feel pretty in it. So I feel like that's all I need as far as like a palette goes. Not everything has to be dramatic and fun and bright and colorful and graphic and all this stuff. Like, I like this kind of everyday vibe that I don't do very often, so it's nice to have something to achieve that with. But yeah, that is all for this look right here. Stay tuned for final thoughts, I guess. Okay, so those are both the completed looks there. So far, so good. I mean, it performs like, you know, other Viseart shadows that we have. So we have the Grand Pro Volume 2, 3, and then the Spritz Edit palette here. I think this is my favorite size-wise. I think this is a great, the Spritz Edit is a lot smaller, but this one is like it's still a small palette, but it still has a little more like girth to it, you know? Yeah. Like this one is almost like those mini foods that you can get at Target. Like, those little packages. Yeah. But I feel like this is a great size as far as a small palette goes. I do think it's a little bit repetitive as far as the mattes go. I mean, I like this one and this one a lot, but I think they could have gone without these two lighter ones. That's just my personal opinion. Or just have one of them, like the lightest one or something. Yeah, because we tend to want to go a little deeper. Like if they even went with a darker brown or just a warmer dark brown, I think that could have been a good addition here instead. But I don't have very many complaints. It's really pretty. It's probably not going to be, you know, a staple in our lives for the rest of time, but I think the pop of color in here makes it kind of interesting. And I know that's the point of those, but I really do think they pair really, really well. Specifically this purple kind of shade here, I think it's one of the prettiest shades in the palette. It's such a unique kind of purple tone, yeah, I think. And that beautiful gunmetal kind of gray too. Yeah, like they pair wonderfully together. And some of the best things about Viseart shimmer formula is that it doesn't do that crusty butthole thing that other shimmers do when you layer them too many times. Like these just layer and layer and layer and layer. Nothing happens. Like a lot of them are also very good in the crease because they're not overly sparkly. Yeah, so they're not, you know, the same as what we typically like in a really heavy textured glitter shadow, but they make for a really effortless, chic sort of wash of
shimmer and color, you know, that whole vibe, like what I want but will never be.
Yeah.
is what Viseart can do for us, you know?
Yeah, I would like to, you know, just in general, dip into some of my Viseart shadows a little bit more. Like the Grand Pro Volume 3 is definitely like, you know, god tier in my collection. It's something I dip into quite a bit because I really love their matte formula. I think it's beyond stunning. Like, yeah, it's one of the best. It's like better than Natasha Denona mattes in my opinion. So I love their mattes. And I do have a gripe with you, Viseart. I would urge you to, when you release palettes in this size, to please add just a hair more depth. Like we don't just need one dark shade.
Yeah.
We need at least two. We need something that encompasses more than white people. So I don't know. I haven't watched any reviews on, maybe Kinky Sweat has one, but she's still not very dark in terms of, you know, skin tone spectrum. So I don't really know how Viseart shadows perform on deeper skin tones, especially these more mid-toned colors. But it's something I try and pay attention to now that I'm aware that that's a thing. Whereas even this one, where my complaint was still that it didn't have enough depth, I think it has more depth than this one.
Yeah.
Like, it just does.
It has darker shimmer.
This is so cute. Yeah. It's just really fun. I still really, really do enjoy this palette. I don't regret purchasing it. It's definitely not a need in our collection, not going to be a staple, but it is one of those where, like, you know, if you were traveling, it'd be like perfect to grab, you know, because you have a variety of different chill looks. You could do, you know, just a brown smoky eye with the deepest brown color, or you could do a gunmetal smoky eye, or a purple, or a green. Like, just this tiny palette has a lot of options if you actually go for them. But yeah, I really like it. I love the little like fold out packaging. I don't know why it's so fun to me, but I like it a lot actually. And I think the purpose is so you can stand it up like that. Like, as a makeup artist, so you can stand it up like that.
That makes sense.
But I don't really do that. I guess you could hold it like this as a mirror too. But I'm not gonna do that either. But yeah, I do really like this. It's another win for me from Viseart. I just must get the new purple palette.
The purple one is really calm too, in the pop of blue. Yeah, as far as Viseart shadows go, same with our other like luxury type products, we have a little bit more of a collector's mentality. Not quite that far, but I don't need to use the palette all the time in order to justify owning it.
Yeah.
I can, you know, recognize and appreciate the beauty of it and the function of it in our collection without having to utilize it every week, every day, that kind of thing.
This mostly goes for, our luxury shadows, but I mean, our Natasha Denona palettes, most of them are like fairly beat up. Like none of them are just like remain untouched. And same with our Pat McGrath ones. It's just that when we go in and use them, we use them hard, and we use them often enough where they do get use, but not so much where it's every day or every week.
Have giant pans and all of them.
Yeah, it's just not what we need to do. However, volume 3 is probably going to go in my next project half pan, so it will be nice and beat up after that. But I think that's all of our thoughts. We will have swatches throughout here at some point. I don't know what to tell you.
They probably were rolling before you said that.
They probably were, but I'm letting editing Rachel know. Don't forget swatches. But that is all from us today. Let us know your thoughts on this palette. Let us know your thoughts on the looks as they come in. And we hope to see you in the next one. Bye.